What is the best HT handheld radio, handheld transceiver under $100? Coming to the end of 2023 and going into 2024, what is the best HT under $100? Let's go. Okay, I'm going to give you today my top 9, in order of price, best HT radios that cost $100 or less. Stay till the end because I've got a bonus for you that doesn't really fit into this category, but it's worth mentioning. Also, do you want to know which one's actually my favorite? I'm going to tell you that too, but you're going to have to wait and see. Like most of these videos, I like to start out at the bottom price and go up to the top price. Now, we could mention the Baofeng UV-5R in this video, and I mentioned that in most of my best of or top X number of radios. I mentioned that in most of my videos. I'm not going to mention it today because it's kind of a given that if you want to start out, you buy a Baofeng UV-5R, or at least a lot of people do. Maybe not everybody, but a lot of people do. The first 2 or 3 here are excellent alternatives to the Baofeng UV-5R, and I will tell you why I think so as we get to each one. This one, of course, is the UV-17R. It is the upgraded version of the UV-5R, it says. Now, they say that about a lot of their radios. But this one and one other we're going to talk about today are actually upgrades to the UV-5R. Let me tell you why. Okay, this one right now is $26.99 with a 7% off coupon on Amazon, plus an additional 10% off that you get by clicking just the checkbox here. These prices are going to vary over time. A lot of the times when I make these videos, I get people come along saying, well, that's not the price now. And I look down and I was like, well, you commented on the video 6 months after the fact. So my suggestion is to check the links in the description below. I'm going to link everything down there and check prices because they will vary over time. They might go down, they might go up. You never know. They're going to go out of stock sometimes. So today's prices on this radio, on this UV-17R, is $26.99 minus a 10% coupon. It goes from $144 to $148 and $420 to $450, which is the 2-meter and 70 centimeter amateur radio bands, and it comes with 999 memory channels. Now, this is one of the first, I believe it's the second Baofeng product that comes with 999 memory channels. The UV-5R has 128 memory channels. The UV-5R has a monochrome screen, in other words, black and white screen. You can see in the picture here, this one has a color screen. It's a little bit larger, okay? It's going to be a little bit easier to see in the daylight. It's got almost 5 times as many memory channels, more than 5 times as many memory channels, if I could math correctly. And it's only a little bit more, with the coupons and everything that Amazon is offering today, it's going to end up being about $5 to $8 more than the UV-5R is today. So this is a great buy for your first radio, under $100. Less than $30, probably less than $25 once you get everything said and done. The one that I have actually reviewed before is this UV-13. This is, as far as I know, this is the first Baofeng that had more than 128 memory channels. Most of them have 128 memory channels. This Baofeng UV-13, I've done a couple of videos about this one. It has 999 memory channels. It is also USB-C chargeable. In fact, I believe that this one's also USB-C chargeable. This Amazon's page does not give a good indication. I believe the UV-17 is USB-C chargeable. There's a couple of my friends who have made videos about this radio on YouTube. You might go check those out. I should probably just buy one of these and make a video myself because why not? But the UV-13 radio is absolutely USB-C chargeable. You plug a standard USB-C cable into the battery, it charges it up. It is a monochrome screen, unlike the UV-17 that's a color screen. The screen's a little bit smaller, as you can see the picture here, but it's got the same level of memory channels and it's pretty much the same features as the UV-17. I imagine I couldn't find this radio on Amazon. It is only on eBay at the time of this recording. I imagine if it was on Amazon, it might be a little bit cheaper, especially with all the coupons that Amazon constantly offers. But it does say right here on eBay, it says or best offer. So you can get $29.99 each or best offer. If you buy 2 or 3 or more, you can get the price to come down. Depends on what you're trying to do with it. But this is the UV-13R. It is number 8 today in the lineup. Number 7 is going to be the T/T UV-88, which is pretty much the same radio as the QRZ-1 that I talked about in my best HT of 2023 video, QRZ1. They took this radio from TYT. They did a new firmware on it, and I say it's the guys at QRZ.com and Gigaparts. They put a new firmware on it, and then they started offering it for free to a bunch of ham radio operators last year that were getting licensed during that time period. That program's gone, although they do still sell the QRZ1 Explorer radio on the Gigaparts webpage, and you can get it for about the same price as this one. But this is the base model. This is the same form factor and not the same firmware, but the same internal hardware as the QRZ1 Explorer. This is a TYT UV-88. This comes to you from buy2waradios.com today. It has 200 capable memory channels and 5 watts of power. And it's going to be about the same quality as the two Baofengs that we spoke about. Sometimes people don't like to buy Baofengs. Baofengs can be kind of dirty. They can be a little bit RFI noisy. The front ends on them can be low quality, which means they pick up noise when you're walking down the street or driving down the road. You hear them chirp and they get noisy sometimes because the front end filtering on them is not very good. This TYT is going to be a little bit better. It's still a $30 radio. It's still not as good as like a $200 or $300 radio, but it's going to be on the list today for number 7. Number 6 is the Baofeng UV-82HP. Now, Btech, this is actually a Btech radio, not a Baofeng radio. Btech is a U.S. company. I think they're in North Dakota. They could be South Dakota. It's one of the Dakotas. They are in the USA. They import Baofeng radios, and they have a few designs of their own that you can only get from baofengtech.com. And you can buy directly from their website. Used to be you just buy their stuff on Amazon, but now you can get it directly from their website. They take a lot of Baofeng radios and they clean them up. They add features to them. They fix issues with them, and then they release them with additional features. This one specifically is an 8-watt dual-band HT, 128 memory channels, like most of your Baofeng radios are. It's 8 watts, and it's a little bit cleaner signal coming into the radio, and a little bit cleaner signal going out of the radio, as compared to a standard Baofeng you might get for 30 or 40 bucks on Amazon. Btech is a sponsor of this show, and I like to share their stuff. Everybody who's ever commented on one of my Btech videos has said that, oh yeah, I got that radio, I really like it, thank you for sharing. So Btech comes in at number 6 today. Number 5 is also a Btech radio, and it's the first one we're going to talk about today that's a tri-band radio. Everything we've talked about today has been dual band, 2 meters and 70 centimeters, or 2 meters and 440. This one adds the 220 or 1.25 meter band. I have this radio. I got this radio brand new when it came out. I've done a couple of videos with it on this channel. I still carry this radio. It's still where I probably had it for 4 or 5 years at the time of this recording. It still works great. It still sounds great. I've had 0 issues with it. The form factor is it's exactly the same, really, as a Baofeng UV-5R. So all of your external accessories for UV-5R, like the extended battery pack, which I have a Nagoya 771 tri-band antenna on mine. You can put the earpieces, the microphones, all of your UV-5R accessories that fit on the UV-5R will fit on this radio as well, because it is the same form factor, like I said, but it incorporates the 1.25 meter band. You can see on the screen right here how it has 136.147 and 220.025. So it's a tri-band radio, but it only displays 2 bands at a time. So you can display 2 meters and 220, or 2 meters and 440, or 220 and 440, or 440 and 220, or however you want to do it like that. If you have the 220 megahertz, if there's any 220 megahertz repeaters in your area, check that. Check the RFinder website, check the repeaterbook.com, check to see if there's any of those repeaters in your area, and if so, this might be a good choice for you. And if you and a friend want to go out somewhere and have a semi-private channel, it's not really private, there's just a lot less people using it. If you want to go out somewhere and get on 223.500 simplex, there's not going to be anyone on 220 simplex, generally speaking. So this could be a good alternative for you if you're interested in the 220 megahertz band. The next one up, number 4, is also a 220 radio, and this is made by TYT, the same people who made the TYT UV-88 a minute ago. This one's $70. It comes to you from buy2waradios.com. Link in the description below. This one has an actual tri-band display. This will display all 3 bands, and they don't have a good picture on their website here. But I've done a couple of videos on this channel about this radio. I was hoping they had a picture of the display, but they don't. But it will display all 3 bands across the front screen. It is a monochrome screen. It does not have any color screens or anything like that. It is only 128 channels, so that's a little bit limiting because you've now got 3 bands worth of channels to hold into the radio. but it will display 2 meters on the top, 220 in the middle, and 440 down below. It will display all 3 bands at the same time. It has what's called Tri-Watch. It listens to all 3 bands at the same time, and then when you start to hear activity on one of the bands, the other 2 get temporarily muted. So you can monitor 3 channels or 3 frequencies at the same time, but once one of them becomes active, the other 2 it's not listening to anymore. This is another radio that I got when it was brand new, got when it came out, and I still have it today, and I still use it semi-regularly because it works well. It still sounds really good. It is tri-band. It includes 220, which I really like to use the 220 band. I have a lot of good 220 repeaters here in my area. I do some 220 simplex as well. So I think this is a really good addition to the lineup today of a radio that includes tri-band that is still under $100. Now, to get licenses for any of these HTs, you need a technician license. All of these HTs are usable by a technician license. And one of the best ways to get your license is to go to hamradioprep.com. Ham Radio Prep offers classes for technician, general, and extra, all 3 levels of the amateur radio band. They have a Baofeng Basics course that they offer as well, and they have a new HF course that they came up with earlier this year that, if you get your general and extra upgrade, might be beneficial to you. You can get an all-access pass for a discounted price right now. They run specials and put the packages together. And you can always save a 20% off coupon off of everything that they have on their website with the coupon code of Jason20. Thank you, Ham Radio Prep, for sponsoring this video. Everything we've spoken about so far has been Chinese-made radios. These last 3 are going to be Japanese-made radios. Now, this is a Yaesu FT-4XR 5-watt dual-band VHF UHF HT. I believe this one is a single-band display. It'll do dual-band, but it only displays 1 band at a time. You can see it's displaying 446.500 right there. You're going to get a lot better quality of audio. People reporting your audio back to you saying, man, that radio sounds really good. You're going to get a lot better quality of audio with a Yaesu radio than you will with a Baofeng or a TYT radio. You're going to get a lot better front-end quality. In other words, when you're driving down the road, it's not going to chirp and squawk a bunch from interference of things around it. So it's got a better front-end filtering. It's got better audio quality, both going out of the radio and coming back into the radio. And for $90 for a Japanese-made radio, this one is definitely going on the list today. Its big brother, the one that I personally own, is the FT-65. Now, the FT-65 also displays single band right here, but there is a way to go into the menu and change it to dual band display. And it has what's called dual watch. So it'll dual watch. It'll watch 2 bands at the same time, 2 meters and 440. Once the first one becomes active, it mutes the second one temporarily. This is a great radio. If you ever want to do any digital modes like APRS or WinLink over 2 meters, DigiRig makes cable interfaces for Yaesu radios, and I know a couple of guys that run a DigiRig APRS iGate or APRS Digipeater with the DigiRig device attached to this Yaesu FT-65. I got one of these when they first came out. I really like it. They called it a Baofeng killer. It's 4 times the price of a Baofeng, so it's not really a Baofeng killer, but it's about the same size. It's got a monochrome screen, and you're getting a Japanese radio for under $100. This is absolutely one of the best radios you can get for under $100 in today's world. The last one we're going to talk about is also a Japanese-made radio. This is an Alinco. Now, I got some lip from some of you for not including any Alincos on my Best HT of 2023 video. Okay, my bad. I find that Alinco radios, while quite good, they can be difficult to program. It's pretty easy to program a Waxon radio or a Yaesu radio or an ICOM radio. I find the Alincos can be kind of a little bit difficult to program. A lot of people have trouble programming even Baofeng radios. And once you kind of get the hang of it, that's not really that big of a deal. But the Alinco radios, the menus are a little bit weird. So I find that they're a little bit more challenging. But the quality is just as good as Yaesu. These are going to be made in Japan. There are some Alinco radios that are made in China, or at least the last leg of the process is made in China. This one right here, this VX50T, the last I checked, it was made in Japan, unless something's changed on that. Put a comment below if you have more information than that. But coming in at $99, it will receive the VHF AM aircraft band. It will receive the FM broadcast band and also NOAA weather receiver for an extra listening pleasure, it says right here. So it receives aircraft AM and it receives NOAA weather channels. Now, pretty much almost all of these radios we talked about will receive NOAA weather if you know what frequency to go to. They'll listen around the I think it's around the 162 to 163 megahertz range. You can find some NOAA weather channels up there. So, but this one actually has all the NOAA weather channels programmed into it, so it's one button push. You can get to them a lot quicker. Kind of a neat feature right here. It does have 200 memory channels, a mix of VHF and UHF. It has semi-duplex dual band with a VVUU and FM broadcast, and it's IP67 rated for dust and water protection. 1800 milliamp hour lithium battery. So we are adding the Alinco today. The Alinco is the same price as the Yaesu FT-65. If I had to choose one, I would probably choose the Yaesu just because that's my own personal preference, but I know a lot of you guys who like Alinco, and I wanted to definitely choose the Alinco in the mix today. So the Alinco and the FT-65 kind of share the spots between 1 and 2. Again, we're putting these in order of price today, and since these are both the same price, you could put number 2 or number 1 as either one of these radios. As a bonus feature to this video, I have said in many of my videos in the past that you should always buy the most expensive radio that you can afford right now because it's going to last you longer. And to a certain degree, I agree with that. I've had some UV-5Rs that I dropped and broke, or that I went bad, or something happened to them, and I still have my 5x3 from Btech and my TH350 from TYT. Anything from BetterSafeRadio.com is going to be tried and true and double tested. They don't really have anything under $100. The only thing under $100 over here is this KG16, which is a GMRS radio. They do have an inflation sale going on right now for the Black Friday event, which is around the time this video has been recorded, and you can always save a 7% discount on everything on this website with the coupon code of HR2All7. So if you don't want to limit yourself to $100, you can go through the list today and pick out one of the 9 HTs I talked about for under $100. If you're willing to spend a little bit extra, you've got the UV9 Papa X-Ray and the UV9D Plus, both for under $200. The 9D Plus is $137, the 9PX is $187, and you can save a 7% discount off of the coupon with the coupon code of HR2All7 on either of those radios and on everything that have GMRS on here. So if you want to spend a little bit extra, you have that option, but if you want to keep it under $100, these are the best 9 that I have been able to find. These are the best 9 of my picks. There's some more out there. There's more out there, and I'd like to know what you think and what you might pick under $100. Put a comment below. Thanks.